Hello, nerds. Thank you for watching Generally Nerdy. This is your Week in Nerdom Movies edition for the week of January 22nd, 2018. This week in movies, we have updates on Venom, Cyborg, Black Widow. So much is going on. Let's hit that intro.
Quiet on the set. Rolling.
Hi, I am Bitsy Telek.
Hey, I'm Hale Appleman.
I'm Walter Kane.
I'm Rene Aubergenois. Odo on Deep Space Nine.
Michael Dorn, Lieutenant Commander Worf, Star Trek The Next Generation.
Come and see me and hear me and talk to me and listen to me talk about myself.
Hey man, this is Kevin Smith, often considered generally nerdy, and you are listening to what is often considered generally nerdy.
On Generally Nerdy.
You're listening to
Generally Nerdy.
Generally Nerdy.
Generally Nerdy.
To start this week in movies, we have a production update for the Halloween reboot thing, reimagining, whatever. Just started production on the beginning of the week, set for an October 19th of 2018. So how the hell did you just start production, but you're coming out this year? Maybe their budget's really low and there's not going to be a whole lot of special effects. Then we're talking Disney, Jungle Book 2, so a sequel to the live action movie we got a couple last year, year before, something, from Jon Favreau. Jon Favreau was quoted as saying that they are taking bits from the rejected original script for the 67 animated movie written by Bill Peet. They're taking some stuff from the rejected script and implementing it into this new movie, because the movie we got before was kind of a lot of a rehash of the 67 movie. This is going to expand on that mythology, I guess you could call it. So that's pretty cool. World building is a lot of fun, and Disney is kind of sitting on a lot of really great properties that they've only touched on once. I think really the only proper sequels they've done have been to like Mickey Mouse movies, and then the Toy Story movies, and a bunch of straight to DVD ones that are crap, because they couldn't get any of the original cast back. But now we're getting Incredibles 2, Toy Story 4, all kinds of stuff. So maybe they're learning and starting to build these worlds, kind of round them out, make them feel real. That would be really awesome. So, and Favreau's done that with the Iron Man franchise, so why would anything else there be any different? I just think that's a lot of fun. Definitely keep our eyes on that and see what comes of it. Next, though, we got a little tidbit of information for Cyborg. Again, with everything shuffling around over at DC, it's no surprise that we are getting that all of their movies have been taken off of their upcoming list, except for what is Aquaman, I think, is the only one that still exists on the DC coming soon list. But that doesn't mean all of these projects have died off, and Cyborg is no exception. We got from Joe Morton, who played Silas, who is Victor's father. He got stopped and by Entertainment Tonight on some red carpet somewhere, and said that the Cyborg movie is going to give not just a character origin, but kind of how probably expand on mother boxes a little bit and all of these things, so that it's less confusing when we have to get back to that kind of stuff. Because eventually we're gonna get Darkseid. They started in that direction, so eventually it has to happen, right? Maybe if they even continue this joint universe thing that they're sucking so hard at. So yeah, that's interesting. I don't know that we need another superhero origin story, especially one from the Justice League, which is arguably one of the most well-known superhero teams in comic books. And we have every freaking superhero movie anymore is an origin story to some degree, except for Spider-Man, which still had a touch of that origin in there. I don't know. I guess you kind of need it to build that universe, and it's a double-edged sword, man. You can't win. But yeah, so that's interesting. Cyborg is still in the works. We're getting word from actors that are still working on it, so that's cool. Moving on, though, we are talking Venom. Oh yeah, the picture that Tom Hardy tweeted, which you should be seeing somewhere here-ish. Tom Hardy tweeted a picture. It's an artist rendering, so we don't know exactly where it came from, if it was an official studio rendering, if it was just a fan rendering that he liked, so he tweeted. If whatever it is, it's his face with a Venom-y kind of color scheme, and then behind him, I mean, you're seeing it right now, is Carnage. So when we thought originally there wasn't going to be Carnage in this movie, it looks like maybe he's hinting at that? I don't know. The other bit of news, though, my first source was John Schnepp, and Schnepp has a lot of information, but it still was super duper rumor. Schnepp said that there's no way that Sony is not gonna put Spider-Man in the Venom movie. In spite of everything they've been saying, that this is completely standalone, it has nothing to do with Spider-Man, has nothing to do with the MCU. But then other sources have said that the kid, why didn't I write his name? Tom Holland, I did write his name down, hooray! Tom Holland was seen on set for the Venom movie, so at least Peter Parker is going to be in it. Whether or not that's Peter Parker as Spider-Man is anyone's guess. But I mean, that makes me that's a relief off of my chest. Sorry, again, I bumped the microphone. That's a relief off my chest because I was super worried that they weren't going to have Spider-Man in a Spider-Man property. That just doesn't make any sense to me. So even if it's a cameo, it's still something. And then maybe they can touch on the origin of the symbiote, and then they can do that, you know, paying tribute to the source material like you're supposed to do with the comic book movie. So yeah, that's very, very interesting. Oh, and the Carnage picture was very quickly deleted from Tom Hardy's Twitter account, so that's also something to take into consideration. Oh crap, I just gave away something I wasn't supposed to, or oh crap, I just gave away something that people think might actually happen and it's not going to happen, so I can post this after we know and all the things, and it's a little convoluted, but we're moving on. Next is Dune. Just a real quick bit about Dune, because anytime I hear something about Dune, I'm going to tell you beautiful nerds about it. Denis Villeneuve, the director for the Dune movie, has said recently in news that he is going to make Star Wars for adults. That's what his Dune movie is going to be, is Star Wars for adults. What does that mean? Does that mean we're going to get a lot of talky stuff that it would be boring for kids to sit through? Does that mean we're going to get the heady bits that are in the book are going to factor into the movie in such a way that they give weight to those elements? That would be really awesome without detracting. I mean, he could do with this like he did with Blade Runner and make a 2.5-hour movie, and I feel like still not cover everything that's in that book, because those Dune books are all so dense. That first one is one of the most dense because it's Herbert building a whole universe. So you have to get used to this giant universe in Herbert's brain. So yeah, but that's really cool. He's making a movie that adults will appreciate. And unless he's talking about, you know, lots of curse words and blood, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense considering where they go in the book, but that's a whole other discussion. Are you guys excited for Villeneuve's version of Dune? Let's talk about that in the comments, because I'm super stoked. I don't know if anyone's caught it, but that's a Dune picture behind me, so I'm pretty big Dune nerd. Moving on, we got a trailer, link in the description. We got a trailer for Suicide Squad Held to Pay. This is the newest animated from DC's animated side, and I'm stumbling over myself. I'm getting ahead of myself. This is going to be, I think, their second R-rated because I don't think the last Suicide Squad animated movie was R-rated. But this is going to be their second R-rated animated movie after the Killing Joke. So that's interesting. That's a pretty low bar to come behind. The animation style in this, according from what I saw in the trailer anyway, and you can see for yourself, is decidedly more Japanese in style. So that's interesting. Like the motion is a very Japanese technique. I don't know who the director is, so I can't say if that was because the director has roots in anime or not, but it looks pretty interesting. The last animated Suicide Squad movie took place in the Arkham Asylum universe. This one does not appear to be in that universe. Their version of Harley looks a lot more like the Suicide Squad live action movie Harley. So probably somewhere between Arkham and the comics, because usually they've been really good about having their animated movies follow a comic book storyline very, very well. So that could be interesting. I don't know what comic book storyline they could be following, because I don't read Suicide Squad, because I don't really like Harley Quinn. But I'm going to watch the movie because I can sit through an hour and a half Harley Quinn. So yeah, definitely check out that link in the description, and we're moving on. Next is a very interesting announcement. John Wick 3 is going to happen. Man, that guy's dog just cannot stay alive, can it? But Keanu Reeves is back as John Wick. Director Chad Stahelski, who directed the second one by himself, co-directed the first one. The primary antagonist is going to be played by Hiroyuki Sanada, who was in 47 Ronin with Keanu Reeves. He was also in the Wolverine movie, The Wolverine. He's going to be the head of a Japanese crime syndicate who is gonna kill John Wick's dog again. I don't know what the motivation for this one's gonna be, because I feel like that is a pretty dead horse right now. But yeah, super stoked because I really dug the first one. The second one, not as much, but the first one was great. The set release date for John Wick 3 is May 19th. I'm handing this one over to you again out there in the Nerdom. Is there a need for a third John Wick? I mean, Keanu Reeves is a badass in both of those movies, and it's really cool to see that he's pushing 50 and still can do these really awesome action roles. So yeah, definitely let's talk about that down low as well. And then our final bit of news is a rehash from last week a little bit. We were talking about the Black Widow movie. Scarlett Johansson is coming back for this movie. Reportedly, she's going to be making $25 million on the front end of this movie, according to Daily Mail, which will make her the highest paid female actor in Hollywood. And then on the back end, I feel like I read that she stands to make about $10 million more, so long as the movie does more than $900 million in the box office. So that's a lot of damn money for a really mixed performance that we get out of her. But I mean, I guess her performance as Black Widow has always been relatively the same. Whether or not that's good is up for debate down low in those comments. But that is where I'm going to end this week's movie episode. If you want to go deeper into the conversation, jump over to the website, generallynerdy.net, where you can find the links to all the social medias, all kinds of free extras up on the website, blog posts, cool things I find all over the internet, blah, 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 all of that. If you want to help this conversation continue going, jump over to the Patreon, patreon.com/generallynerdy, where you can jump on for just $1 a month, and that helps out incredibly. If you are new to the channel, click the subscribe button. If you like the video, click the like button. Or if you want to subscribe, then click the button above my head, click or tap, depending if you're on mobile or whatever. If you are running behind and you need to catch up on your nerd news, then that button to the left of my face is what you can click or tap to catch up on all of that. But before you do that, I need to stop you. I need to just stop and remind you that always remember, if it's generally nerdy, probably here.